important month of 2025.
Timothy Clark Smith was more famous in
talking to the scientists about
capturing the commute of laborers and
Yet again, the Mountain Dew conspiracy continues. You guys, they just announced that they have a new flavor coming out called Baja Midnight. Now, I've never seen this, but Taco Bell, who is exclusively releasing this, did a TED Talk style event announcing it.
Bell's first ever new flavor of Baja Blast Midnight. It is the flavors of the tropical lime storm that you love with a burst of passion fruit. It's going to pair with...
Now, what does this mean, you ask? So whenever they do a big push on a flavor like this, history has shown us something is about to happen. Now, last year when I showed you guys the flavor Pitch Black, we had the biggest IT blackout of all time. Not to mention, we had Infinite Swirl come out last year, and then we had all those crazy hurricanes and tornadoes. Also, I called this one last year where we had Star Spangled Splash flavor and the Francis Scott Key Bridge collapse, and guess who wrote the Star Spangled Banner? Francis Scott Key. Now, this new flavor, Baja Midnight, could be referring to something like this, like the witching hour, which is at 12 o'clock. Now, my guess on this could be something, we're going to see something very weird on a paranormal level, or something that's going to make us question everything. This also could be in reference to an eclipse, aka a midnight sun. And you guys remember that crazy eclipse that we had last year in April. So I would be on the lookout for this year because it's on March 13th. But don't quote me on that day because it could be something bigger like this. This miniseries just came out called 0 Day on Netflix. In short, it's about a 1-minute cyber blackout in America. And I won't give it away, but it does have some twists and turns that could be alluding to what's happening in the government. And the fact that Taco Bell is exclusively releasing this doesn't help as well because that definitely looks like a serpent's eye. And the fact that you can see 3 6s in the bell right there. 6, 6, 6. Wait, hold up. That witching hour theory just kind of came together right now. Now, my last Mountain Dew video went crazy. It almost did 5 million, but get this. Mountain Dew themselves commented on that video and said, keep your voice down. This is just really good marketing, or it's just hidden in plain sight. Let me know what you guys think about all this down below.
Bro, I'm 100% feeling they telling us the things. Midnight, they're gonna do a blackout. They're gonna stop all the Wi-Fi. They're gonna do something. They're gonna do it. It won't be a day. It'll probably be longer than a day. And we're all gonna be just twiddling our thumbs because we don't know what to do because we don't got no interwebs. Hey, what do you think? Is this believable? I mean, all the other flavors predicted them, so why can't the midnight flavor also? Sir, welcome back, Goons. You're watching Explore the Weird. Hey, I'm already smiling. It's only the first video, but you know that's normal. Hey, I got some more creepy, weird, strange For You page content. Let's get right into it.
Yeah, let's go to the mountain. This month is the most important month of 2025. Basically, shit is gonna hit the fan this month. Just, for your edification, we have 2 retrogrades, 2 eclipses, spring equinox. Then we also have Neptune moving into Aries for the first time since the mid-1800s. Now, the mid-1800s, so interesting. Such an interesting time in American history. We had this thing called the Civil War. Now, I have a lot of predictions for this year. Let me know if you want me to make a video on my prediction. What feels very clear is with Neptune moving into Aries to the place it occupied at this very significant time in United States history is that we have a new sort of divide happening. And I'm not talking about MAGA versus everyone else. I'm talking about the actual structure of the country and how it operates. Consider what would happen if certain states decided to secede, or if the federal government decides to pull funding from those states or from those states' core institutions. That's seceding. Secede, the verb, the definition is to withdraw from an organization. Whether the state is doing this or the federal government by way of the executive branch is doing this, we found ourselves back again in this Neptune story. And with that happening at the end of the month, and before that, 2 massive, extremely important eclipse. It's gonna be a real one.
All right, I'm not hoping for any civil war here, but I do know there's unrest in the political system. There's people on both sides that are just unhappy or happy or whatever it may be. Guess what? Every 4 years, it's always going to be like that. It's just how it is. It's the political game. Don't fall for it. But regardless, what's most important here is, hey, I'm not trying to go political, but I want you to understand. that this is all part of their game. They just want us to make it seem like these things matter, when in fact they truly don't. They're going to push whatever agenda they have onto us, and we have to be the ones. We have to be the ones that are awakened and know what exactly we're doing and why we're doing it and why we need to, in order to sometimes work with the Matrix so we can eventually break away from the Matrix and get that financial independence. Hey, that is the goal. We'll see. We'll see. Is March going to be the month? Is the lunar eclipse going to be the thing that resets? Are we going to be set back into a civil war? Probably not. But hey, maybe in her timeline, she sees the things.
When I was first handed homework at the age of 10, suddenly its morrow existed, and I was expected to smuggle a new and improved version of me into the next day for the rest of my life. Right now was gone forever, and I was trapped in the endless cycle of tomorrow. That's when life's magic was murdered.
Wait, so it all started with the homework? Like, I had to send in, and then boom, you achieved nirvana, and now you're an awakened soul, and you're like, I'm enlightened and I know all the things. It all started because I sent in the homework. Sure did, buddy, but some people, that homework was eaten by a dog.
Timothy Clark Smith was more famous in death than life. He was so afraid of being buried alive, and back in the 1800s, that was a very common fear, and that was a thing that happened a lot of the time. So he had a glass panel installed directly above his face over top of the tomb. So you used to be able to look in and see his face when he was buried. So in the case that he was buried alive, people would be able to see and tell and be able to go get him help. They put a bell in his hand so he could ring the bell if he was actually alive, which is a very common thing that they did back then. That's called a dead ringer. That's where we get that term. Now, a part of the story that a lot of people leave out is that the grave was actually supposed to extend in the opposite direction. It was supposed to come all the way over here. In the case that he was buried alive, he would be able to stand up from his tomb and be able to walk out. But when they actually built his grave, they didn't include this. So nowadays, because like the glass has aged and stuff has gotten on top of it because it's outside, we can't see into the glass. We can't see his face. Someone took a special photo and like developed it in a way that you would be able to see his face, and it is very, very scary looking. This is haunting. Come over here for more creepy.
No, I didn't need to see the face. The face was just weird, but I guess he is down there still looking back at us as we all throwing our pennies onto his thing. And he's like, why are you throwing the pennies? I don't have anything for you. I was just trying to say.
Here's why you feel behind in life. And this might be painful for you to hear, but I promise it will change your relationship with yourself. You feel behind because for your whole life, you have been taught not to value yourself as a person, but to value yourself for your performance, and specifically how your performance stacks up against other people's performance. This is part of what I call old happy, which is our society's definition of happiness and the culture we've created surrounding it. And in old happy, no human being has inherent worth. Let me say that again. No human being has inherent worth. You have to earn your worth, and you do that by fulfilling old happy's values. Being successful at work, hitting certain societally approved milestones at certain times, looking a certain way, getting approval from others, never struggling or failing, and so on. If you can do these things, then you separate yourself from those who cannot do them, and then that allows you to feel superior to them. And that is how you get your sense of self-worth. Your self-worth is based upon feeling better than other people. And that is why we use the word behind, because we unconsciously see life as a race that needs to be won. Think about the last time that you opened up this app and you saw somebody else who was doing a better job at fulfilling old happy's values than you were. You probably instantly felt worse about yourself, even though nothing about you had changed. When you say to yourself, I feel behind, I want you to recognize the real words that underpin it. Right now, I feel inferior to others because I am unconsciously participating in a system that ranks human beings in order to judge who is worthy. So the question becomes, do you really want to continue participating in this race that you didn't sign up for and that isn't making you very happy? Say to yourself, I'm not behind because I'm not in a race. My worth does not need to be earned. It is inherent. If you want to learn more about how to make this shift, you can pick up my book, New Happy, which goes into the science behind these recommendations and shows you more about how to put them into practice. You can get it at the link in my bio.
Guys, she basically told you the secret sauce. You don't need to buy the book, but regardless, definitely 100%, hey, you're worthless to me. Because none of this matters. None of this matters. If you are thinking, hey, Teddy, I'm in it, I'm worth it, I'm gonna win the race, you stop it, bro. Slow and steady always wins the race. You trying to what? What are you trying to do? Get to the end and transcend as fast as you can? That means you ends, bro. You stop it. We're not trying to end that quick. Oh boy. Goon timeline, best timeline. We're gonna keep it going. And always always have somewhere that we can all transition to and transcend into. Hey, that is the goal. Goal is to be here, like the cockroaches that live forever. Yeah. Oh, wait, sorry. The main thing, hey, don't compare yourself to others. Only trust in yourself, and don't put any crazy rules onto yourself because others appear to be doing better. No one cares about the others. You're the one that's judging them. Just stop the judging. Just stop the caring. Just stop the winning. Just start losing. Lose everything, and then you'll realize that it all starts with you. You are the most important person.
How can I keep my daughter, 9 years old, away from these dangers from the internet?
Only two things. One, you actually don't let her spend time on it, which, as you know, is very hard because everybody in her world will be on it. Two, and this is the most important, I have a 13-year-old daughter, and I think about this a lot. This is my number one thing that I'm most passionate about, period, in the end of world. Number one way to protect a child is to build their self-esteem. When a child is not insecure, they don't succumb to danger. Make sure she's confident about who she is, her brains, isn't overly reliant on how she looks. Build her actual self-esteem, because you're not going to be able to watch her every minute.
No, I can't.
But if you make, I know you do, which is why I'm telling you this. I can sense that you realize it. If you make her confident in who she is, that she's amazing the way she is, she will not succumb to other people, and that is how she will navigate.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Gary V.
Man, that is a nice message, Gary. I completely agree. Hey, the best way to stop it, prevent her from accessing it, and that could be the first step. But the real thing is, hey, work on her, work with them, build up that self-esteem. Self-esteem is big. How's your self-esteem? Mine's real low. Always is, because I'm like, bro, I do everything right. But this algorithm continues to put me down. So we need the goons such as you. It's that time. It's that time. You got to bring my self-esteem up. Can you do them interactions and give me that validation? Yeah, I need that validation. I'm not asking for any judgment. I'm not judging you if you don't interact. But come on now. You're a goon. You got to do the interactions. Other goons did the interactions and you found me. So why aren't you doing the interactions so we can find them other goons? Come on now. Come on now. Interact.
For reasons why I'm skeptical of the moon landing. Every single person who's walked on the moon was a Freemason. Freemasons make up such a tiny percent of the human population, and you're telling me that only members of the secret society made it to the moon? Suspicious. First time non-Freemasons are heading to the moon, the ship doesn't make it, and that was our last attempt because it was suddenly too dangerous. When they return, you think that they'd be ecstatic that they just completed the most amazing feat in human history. Riddle diddle me why they look absolutely depressed.
Astronauts Neil Armstrong, Michael Collins, Edwin Aldrin. Neil?
It was our pleasure to have participated in one great adventure.
I've seen people more stoked about getting a B+ on a test. There's also multiple interviews of NASA employees saying we no longer have the technology to get to the moon. There was only 66 years between the first flight and then landing on the moon. In the 54 years since then, not only have there not been any new advancements, but we've actually gone backwards with our technology. My favorite fact of all is that we lost the original video of the moon landing. No one is able to see if the video's been edited or altered in any way because we only have copies. We lose the most significant video in all of human history.
We lost it because they realized that their editing was bad and people were going to catch on many years in the future that, hey, it was in fact faked. But regardless, you still believing them NASA lies? You stop it. You stop it. We need them commercial companies now to start going to the moon and really doing the things because you know NASA ain't going to get there. How much longer till we fall for this? Oh boy. And then what? Then the commercial companies start telling us that space doesn't actually exist and they don't know how to get up. Sorry.
What happens if you put your head inside of a particle accelerator and turn it on? Kind of like this Hot Wheels loop. Particle accelerators accelerate particles to nearly the speed of light. And this guy, Anatoly Bugorsky, was unfortunate enough to stick his head inside of one while it was on, and this is what happened to him. Scientists use these giant circular machines, also known as atom smashers, to see how subatomic particles like protons behave while traveling at the speed of light, doing tests like crashing them into each other and other complex science stuff. And yes, I said at the speed of light. Well, almost. They get it up to like 99.99999% the speed of light, because 100% is still impossible at the moment, but hey, we're getting close. They do this by accelerating subatomic particles like protons in a long circular vacuum tube that's colder than space. They start off in a smaller loop where they use electric currents from really strong batteries to get the particles particles moving fast, and magnets to keep the particles on a stable path as they curve through the loop to be fed back into the batteries and get even faster. This feedback loop gets them fast enough until they're fed into a bigger loop to reach even higher speeds. And they inject a second set of protons here so they could play Ring Around the Rosie with each other and just keep getting faster. They're then fed into the final loop where the two sets of protons are accelerated in opposite directions so they could collide into each other and do science. This right here would be the Large Hadron Collider, the biggest particle accelerator in the world at 27 kilometers in circumference, where the protons traveled the entire circular distance more than 11,000 times per second. So yeah, it's fast. The LHC is in Switzerland and contains 1.8 billion kilometers of wires, enough to go the distance of not around Earth, but of Earth's entire orbit around the sun twice, or from the Earth to the sun and back 6 times. Anyway, so that's cool and all, but now that we know what a particle accelerator is, let's put our head inside of one. On July 13th, 1978, a scientist named Anatoly Bugorsky was working on the U-70 synchrotron particle accelerator just outside of Moscow, which is much smaller at 1.5 kilometers, but the speeds are pretty much the same. So there was an experimentation room in this lab where the accelerated protons are exposed to open air for a brief moment, and they had bare safety measures in place to make sure that no one walks in when a live beam is going. But Bugorsky showed up to the room 5 minutes earlier than he was supposed to. Somebody forgot to lock the door, and the emergency light that signaled a live beam burnt out. Say hello to Murphy's Law. He enters the room and doesn't realize there's a beam of protons traveling through the open air in front of him because they're both silent and invisible. He bends over to have a look at a few monitors and accidentally puts his head directly into the beam of trillions of protons traveling basically the speed of light. That's 76 billion electron volts of energy passing through his skin, skull, brain, and out the other side. But the craziest part, he felt no pain at all. And there wasn't even a hole in his head. That's because protons are so small that they physically passed in between the empty space of the atoms in his own head. And the voltage didn't stop in his head, it just passed right through it, which is why he didn't die from 76 billion volts. All he reported was his entire field of vision being overcome with a light brighter than 1,000 suns, but a light that only he could see. This light was inside of his head. He kind of tripped out for a sec, but once he realized he was fine, he logged the experience and went home without telling anyone. But the next day, his head started to swell, so he went to the doctors and they calculated the exact path the protons passed through his head in. Although he survived, in the years to come, he lost hearing in his left ear, started having episodic seizures, and the nerves on the left side of his face were destroyed, freezing his facial expression in place for the last 45 years.
Oh my god, this is so sad. It's like, did he get any compensation for all the crazy mishaps or no? Because this is Russia, they don't got any of those. They got some other weird thing where if they speak out, they put you in concentration camps and give you bears as pets. Sorry, I know nothing about Russia. I'm just assuming. I got propaganda over here, so, you know. It's the same way in many countries. You always got propaganda. You just don't know it. All the governments are paying... Sorry, Marty. All the governments are paying money for Hollywood and Bollywood, so that way Sorry. It's a thing Candace Owens told me about.
The Mandela effect. I'll have one for you. Pikachu. Describe his tail.
Think of him.
Yeah.
Oh, God, he's nasty. He had short little tail.
What color was it?
His tail was yellow.
You don't remember anything on it?
Like a little
like a
black ball at the end?
Yes. There was no black little thing at the end of it. Now they're saying Pikachu never had that. That stresses me out. There was a black ball at the end. The one on the left is correct, and they're saying the black ball never existed. So someone's just deleting the files.
All right. I come from a timeline where I'm obsessed with Pokemon. So in my current timeline, hey, Pikachu never had the black part on the tail. It's usually a misrepresentation because people remember Pichu, who has that black tail, and they confuse Pichu and Pikachu, and it's been happening for quite some time. But Pikachu, in my timeline, since the beginning, since I started trading Pokemon cards when I was young, elementary kid, 100% Pikachu never had the black thing. But there's still gonna be those guys. No, I got a tattoo and I put the black stripe on it. It 100% existed. Now it's gone. No, you messed it up. You serious? You get out of here.
EPCOT, do you know what EPCOT stands for? Experimental Prototype Community of Tomorrow. And EPCOT is so precious to me because that's where I did my Disney College program in Mouse Gear that is now closed. EPCOT was originally conceived by Walt Disney during the early development of Walt Disney World. What would the city have looked like?
Tell us.
It would have been circular in shape, and in the middle you'd find a central hub with a convention center. From there, 4 other rings of development would fan out with businesses, houses, apartments, and green spaces.
So it was just going to be a big town?
A big town. It was going to house 20,000 people.
It sounds like the occult.
Their rail would not have been a train, it would have been a monorail. Of course, because Disney was obsessed with the monorail, which he introduced in 1959 at a much smaller scale at California's Disneyland. And his intention was for it to be a company town, so all citizens of the Jetsons-esque city would be working at Disney.
That sounds like
That's a flippant cult.
We don't pay you, but you live here.
Yes.
You can never leave.
And you're
Because
never
there's
going to die.
There's no roads in, no roads out. It's the only city where no one's ever died. Sorry.
They become the animatronics whenever you do.
Oh my god, that's exactly what they're going to start replacing you in the city, and then boom, you've been replaced by the Walt Disney clones. Sorry. Or the animatronics. The robots are just as good. They just put the fake skin on them and they're like, yep, looks just as good. Oh no, the robot had a malfunction. Oh, it's okay. We're in that 20,000 population smart city, you know, the original smart city before the smart city plans was released. Disney came and put in, he said too much in that. Sorry, spiraling.
What do real estate agents find when we walk through people's houses? This is a property our client's buying. First time home buyer vibes. And we're walking through this property today as the final walkthrough. And that's very important in the transaction because it's our last chance before the closing table to make sure everything is as it should be. So looking for details through this walkthrough is important. Like this detail. We see that there's pee on the ground. We don't want pee on the ground. Or here, they removed the pool and forgot to bring the pump. We need the pump out of here. And we walk through every room of the property to make sure stuff like this, the triple X and the bong, are gone by closing. Pew pew on the washing machine that I can't show on the screen needs to be gone by closing. Like seriously, it was just like laying right there. Well, can I tell you what I find most when walking through people's properties, especially at these final walkthroughs, is people who are selling their properties at an agreed upon price to a brand new, in this case, first time buyer, and having zero consideration for what's left. Just trash. Letting their dogs rip up the deck in the last month. Leaving trash. Not cleaning up. Left behind 2 stalled vehicles outside the property, expecting them to just take care of it. At least this trash is in a bag. What I typically find when walking through people's houses? Lack of consideration and ickiness. And a little bit of smoke in 2 different varieties.
100% a little bit of smoke in 2 different varieties. The major thing is, are you hitting that like button? Oh boy. Yeah, and if you aren't, well, there's plenty of goons that are, so don't you worry. Don't you worry. This is hilarious. I didn't even pick up on any of these things till he drilled into it. Man, the pew pew on the washing machine is the wildest thing. Imagine that. What? You just take it and now you have an unregistered thing and that you start trying. Sorry, I'm just trying to figure out what you turn it into the people. It's like, yo, I could use this for protection in the future. You don't know if they're going to come back. Sorry. You don't do anything I said.
Girly pop, sometimes you're not someone's cup of tea because you're ayahuasca. You'll literally make them confront the things that they're too afraid to confront. And so what do they have to do? Run from you. So let the delulu kick in. Maybe they didn't ghost you. They're just, afraid of themselves.
Yo, I have a feeling this is me. I am the ayahuasca. Hey, not everyone can take me. Only the goons can take me because they're the ones that can take the ayahuasca. They don't want that regular tea. They don't want that masala chai. They want that ayahuasca. Yeah, they want to trip out. They want to spiral out. Oh boy. And now I have all these new people coming into the audience. They're just like, Daddy, just stop talking. Let the videos play. We don't want to hear you talk. And I'm just like, I don't understand. Do you comment this on other reaction channels? Do you not like reaction channels? You're on the wrong channel. No, I'm the ayahuasca. It's me.
The next generation is way smarter. They don't want to be plumbers, electricians, or carpenters. They're starting to see that college is a ripoff and a 401k isn't going to cut it. And now everybody's complaining that nobody wants to work and that all the employees are terrible. But dude, the problem isn't them. It's your business. Nobody's going to bust their ass for $15 an hour when rent is $1,700 a month and groceries have shot up 25% in the last few years. Just pay your people more.
Yeah, I actually love this. Definitely, if a business can pay people more, go ahead and do it. But do not stress the business and have the business foreclosed because you couldn't pay more because now you're paying them $25 an hour. Now everything in your stock needs to go up so that way you can make them the $25 an hour. And now these guys are making more than others, It's very surprising that a lot of these new generations coming into the workforce most of the time are making more than the people that have been working there for 10 years, 5 years plus, because that's the inflation market. Sometimes it's easier. You're looking for that higher pay. It's easier just to hop jobs rather than try and stick it out to the original one because, hey, you've been there for 10 years and they don't see any value in you. They just like, hey, just keep paying him. Give him that 2% increase. He'll be fine. He'll still be here. Nah, you want real change? You're going to find a new job. Sorry. This turned into something else. But I just feel like the next generation, they know the things. They know exactly what they want, and they know that they're in an inflated income, so they can get whatever they ask for, because where else they're going to get the workers? What, they're going to replace us all with robots and then pay the extra for the robots? No, that's not yet. That's only in like the next 5-10 years. It's already now. Sorry, spiral it.
Ultimate hack I learned from my wife over here: when you're at the pediatrician, bring a robe for your little one. Look how content she is. Because they'll come in, they'll take her heart rate. Look, and then boom, we're right back to warm. Oh, that's nice. That's a really nice daddy. You're doing so good, Breezy.
All right, first and foremost, I'm not here to say how or what you should do when visiting the pediatrician, but I'm pretty sure that infant babies, such as what appears to be this baby, like to be like snuggled, you know? They like to be compressed. So I don't know if the bathrobe is the right thing. Is it called a Snuggie? Like, what is it? Like when infants, babies, oh my god, we have to do this for Cairo. What is it called? Infant, it's like swaddle. It's called swaddle. The infant babies like to be swaddled, so I don't know if a bathrobe is truly a swaddle. I feel like they need that hug. They need that hug from that blanket, and now they're just like open arms, someone hug me. But really, they should be binded. But I don't know. I'm not the pediatrician, so we'll see.
Let's do some old world stuff.
Okay, if you want unequivocal, slam-dunk evidence of a mud flood or intentional burial, you're about to get it. This hotel in London has 4 floors, but the original sketches of the building have 5 floors, which they say weren't completed to save on cost. But as you can see, I had to walk up steps to reach the hotel. But it looks as if underground, beneath this glass, the building just keeps on going. And it turns out there's a London Underground station beneath the building. So let's go and check it out. And what do you know, we found the missing 5th floor underground. And it can't just be a basement, because why are there bricked up windows there? All they've done is simply build a station around the buried ground floor. And here you can see, up through the looking glass, all 5 stories of the building. And here you see a sketch of the building with the 5th floor, which they say was not built. Even knowing you can see the 5th floor for yourself in the underground station, hidden in plain sight. Am I taking crazy pills? It's right there.
Dude, that is straight evidence right there. The old drawing has 5 floors, and then it's only got 4, and they're claiming that they didn't build the 5th floor? Yeah.
That is completely aligns with all the other stuff. Like I said, when I've shown all the underground places, like DC included, I had pictures where, yeah, you'd see the buildings where, like, yeah, you could just look down and you could see the bottom floor down there. And it's so weird that the mainstream narrative, they don't even try to explain it. They just try to say, like, don't believe your lying eyes. Mud floods don't exist. And you're like, well, how did the ground get up over the first floors of these places? In some cases, multiple stories down into the ground.
The architecture on that building was so elaborate and just epic looking. And then they have a whole floor underground. And you're like, what? What does that mean? Oh, we didn't build the floor. And then we had built an underground basement. Like subway station instead. Dude, you're clearly being lied to. I'd love to check out other buildings in that environment.
That's a we got 'em situation, because you see like the illustrations, you see the floor, now you see the floor under the ground. How did that happen?
Windows that are bricked up. It's like so obviously there were windows.
Yeah, they always made basements with windows in them and then bricked them up later.
Yeah.
Oh my god, this is just crazy. Like, the proof is right there. It's right in front of you. The mud floods were real. Look, there are many buildings that were built on top of older buildings that we just... and the tunnels have always been there. They're just reusing the old tunnels of older civilizations that tell us they're bad. Sorry. I'm spiraling. This also weirdly reminded me of, like, that Oumuamua, the North Korea guy, where he also investigated, like, a floor that wasn't supposed to exist and then took some propaganda. At least that's what they claim, but we in fact know that on that footage wasn't him, in fact, and they tried to say it was him, and they did so many bad things. R.I.P. Legend. R.I.P. Legend. Otto, you did the things, buddy. They did you so wrong. Sorry. Sorry, they just turned into something else. But yeah, 100% mud flood.
University students have long been considered independent free thinkers, so we use that mentality to our advantage. You used college students? How? We gave them direct access to high-ranking officials and told them what to say in their university newspapers so that we sounded good. But how did you get them to agree to do this for you? Some of them we paid up to $500,000, which in today's money is like $10 million. $10 million. Yeah, they were set for life. All to influence the future generation's opinion of us, but we did it to actual journalists too. Until the New York Times blew up our spot saying we had a worldwide propaganda network, saying we were influencing public opinion by paying off journalists. We ruined everything. So the New York Times outed you? Well, by that point, we had been paying off student journalists and actual journalists for a quarter of a century to influence public opinion about the government. So you stopped doing it, right? Well, yeah, we stopped doing it that way. What do you mean? What do you mean? Well, paying people to write exactly what you want them to write about you is a little bit archaic, don't you think? So we decided to go a different route. Mind control. I'm sorry, did you just say mind control? I guess I'll talk to you about that next. Yeah.
I feel like she's 100% right. Is that what HARP's doing? Is that what the next red stations are doing? Is that what the satellites all above us doing? Is that what the drones are doing? Who's doing the mind control? Is it the towers? I have many questions. We're going to do 3 more.
People are not happy about this viral picture of the new McDonald's PlayPlace, which honestly doesn't look very fun at all. Old McDonald's playgrounds, which were such a fun and memorable place for all of us as kids, are now seemingly being replaced by what some refer to as a dystopian nightmare. This photo, which is blowing up on Twitter right now, showcases one of the new PlayPlaces at a McDonald's in Franklin, Tennessee, where it is simply 2 chairs and 2 tablets attached to the wall that kids can use to play touchscreen games. It's crazy to me how we went from this to just having kids sit in a corner and stare at a screen. After this photo started getting some attention online, a few psychologists chimed in, talked about how harmful changes like this could be to future generations. Real play is key to a child's development, and too much screen time for young kids is associated with things such as cognitive delays, poor attention spans, and poor emotional regulation. McDonald's, we love you, but we want this back.
All right, guys, I used to work at a McDonald's, and I'm going to share some inside secrets. Hey, almost all the employees that work at McDonald's don't care about the PlayPlace, and they don't clean the PlayPlace. They literally just let the PlayPlace, and they don't even monitor it. And some of the PlayPlaces are outside. I've had an experience when I was a young kid. I walked into an outside McDonald's PlayPlace, and there was a homeless guy sleeping on the inside of one of the tubes, and I'm just like, what the hell? What the hell? No, it's for kids, not home. But at the same time, I was too young. I didn't understand that homeless guy needed to sleep there. Daddy, you just let him sleep. Now you woke up and you told the manager, and the manager kicked him out. But at least she gave him that Egg McMuffin, so that way he could be in good spirits and be well fed. But you probably shouldn't have. Sorry, I'm reminiscing about the whole thing. But 100%. There's also been incidents where I've gone into the ball pit. I'm like, why is there all this like weird urine-y like liquid in here? Oh, because a kid literally had an accident in the ball pit. No, you think they're cleaning each and every ball in there after that accident? No, the employees don't care. Hey, as much as I want to pay places back, just take your kids to places that actually get cleaned and are fun for kids. Yeah, sorry. Some people are going to be like, Teddy, I still want them.
I saw this on old Joe Rogie talking to the scientists about the Oumuamua object.
Okay.
That they found in space in October 2017. It's this elongated thing that's like the size of a football field. And it's the first object that they've been able to track in our solar system that came from outside of our solar system.
Uh-oh.
And they're like, oh, it's a meteor, but there is no cosmic tail coming off of it.
Yeah.
And so the scientist guys are like, we're gonna like dive into it and like try to figure it out. But it was traveling so fast that it wasn't attached to anything gravitational wise. Like when it got closer to the sun, it sped up to pass the sun.
Wow. So it was like intelligent enough.
Yeah, well, they're like, what could it be?
It changes speeds.
And he said the light on it would change too. It was this past September, they found an object that already in our solar system. And it turns out that object was a rocket booster from one of the lunar trips. But like everything about it didn't match what they saw.
Yeah.
It just behaved.
I 100% believe Oumuamua is artificial/alien intelligence. I feel like it is from somewhere else. It is someone that was created this missile type object to watch over us or observe us, or just like it just feels so crazy. It's changing speeds. It's has no like regular qualities of any other meteoroid or comet or asteroid, and you just start to wonder, hey, hey, what's really going on here? They're keeping track of us. They're monitoring us since the very beginning, and we're too dumb to even... Sorry.
This photographer stood on top of a highway overpass, capturing the commute of laborers in Mexico. From 7 to 9 a.m. during 2011 to 2012, Alejandro Cartagena took these images. He would watch for pickup trucks, and once he saw humans inside, he would wait for it to go under the overpass and take 1 or 2 pictures. If he got it, he got it. If not, not. Alejandro says that this project shows that people are willing to do whatever it takes to make a living, to find work, even though this is very dangerous. He says that people crash and fly out of the truck, and it's illegal. That's why many times they are lying down. And the subjects featured are ones that we very rarely see, in addition to this viewpoint. And he does an amazing job at captivating us. Makes us so interested in the lives of these people that so many times are ignored and not recognized. My favorite part is sometimes someone will be looking up at the exact same time that Alejandro takes a photo, which is rare because he's only taking 1 or 2 photos. Like, look at this.
Dude, they look so photogenic in that last photo. I'm like, bro, they knew exactly. Like, they were like, this is not my first time. He's probably been in multiple pictures of his, and he's like, this is the best one. Yeah. Wow. I never knew that this was also an art piece. That seems very interesting. I feel like we got to do something similar, except instead of cars going in an underpass, we start taking pictures of every single person that walks through a door. Wait a second. Wait. Is this just a different way of facial recognition? Sorry. I'm spiraling on something else now. Oh, man, the TSA agents are doing that every time someone walks through a door. They're taking pictures. Sorry. Guess what, guys? You made it to the end. Hey. I told you there was a lot of weird, creepy, strange. Hey. That's all I can say. Did you do the interactions earlier? Come on now. You still got time. Hey, listen, there should be videos on the screen right now. Click on either one of them to continue the Goon Fix. The one in the middle, you can subscribe. I will see you guys next time. Goodbye.